So another concept related to points that we need to look into in analytic geometry would be finding the midpoint of a line segment or a midpoint between two points. So for example, in this illustration here, we have point C as our midpoint. Midpoint. And it's literally, hindi lang siya in between the 2 points, but it's literally halfway between points A and B. It's literally in the middle or half of line segment AB. Now, how do we find the coordinates of this midpoint? Although siguro familiar na kayo dun sa formula, but where did that come from? So, papasukan natin ngayon yung explanation to with a little bit of geometry. As you can see in the illustration here, ayan, with these broken lines here, we actually have these points and we form some triangles. Actually, from here, we can then say that this triangle A, there you go. This triangle ACD, there you go. So that triangle ACD will now be compared to the larger triangle, I hope it can be seen. This larger triangle larger triangle ABE. AB and then E. So those two triangles that we have, we have now triangle ACD, and now comparing it to triangle ABE. They both have this same angle A here. Yeah, this angle A both belongs to the smaller triangle ACD and to the bigger triangle ADC. And since we know that the midpoint C is directly in the middle, gitnang-gitna ito, so AC is technically 1/2 and BC is also 1/2. So we can say that the ratio between AC to BC, AC to AB rather, AC to AB is actually equal to 1/2. That's what ayan yung 1/2 natin dyan. So, since we have the same angle, by reflexive property of congruence, angle A is congruent to itself. Angle A is congruent to angle A. And we can see that this holds dahil nga yung C ay midpoint, so kalahati siya. Therefore, AC and AB are proportional. Bakit yun minention? Because if we have an angle that is congruent and then we have sides that are proportional to each other, and take note that AC and AB are hypotenuses of their respective triangles, we can then conclude that these two triangles are similar. Ayan ang symbol ng similarity. The triangle ACD is similar to triangle ABE by HA similarity theorem. Although hindi din naman natin kailangang mag-focus dito, this just shows that why the two triangles are similar. Pero bakit natin kailangang ipakita na two triangles are similar? Because if these two triangles are similar, then we can say that, apart from the fact that, I'll just write it in black, AC over AB is equal to 1/2. We can also say that AC is equal to AB, and they are also equal to AD over AE is also equal to AC over AB, and we can also say that CD over BE, they are also equal to each other, because CD over DE because corresponding sides of similar triangles are proportional. Kaya natin kinuha to kasi we wanted to prove that we want to find the formula here, and it's important that these three are equal. And this three can only be equal kung similar yung dalawang triangle. Kaya natin hinanap to. Sir, bakit importante na equal to? Kasi we're going to derive the formula from here. We know that AC over AB is equal to 1/2. Therefore, we can then say that AD over AE is also equal to 1/2. Now, what happens if AD over AB is equal to 1/2? So, let's just clear the board there. Dito tayo mag-solve sa kaliwang side. So, let's clear this up. Dito tayo na. We know from here that AD over AE is equal to AC over AB, and that would mean AD over AE is equal to 1/2. From there, let's now look at the coordinates, or not the coordinates, but the distances or the length of AD and AE. Now, as you can see, A and D have the same coordinates, therefore they are horizontal. And since they are horizontal, we learned before that the distance between two horizontally aligned points would be the difference of their abscissas. Base sa pwesto nito, mukha namang mas malaki yung x kaysa sa x sub 1. Therefore, the distance of AD would be x minus x sub 1. Similarly, ganun din ng AE. Parehas ng coordinates, therefore horizontal. So, isusubtract ang abscissa para makuha ang distance. Dahil ito yung direction sa right, E yung nasa right, ideally kapag nasa right, mas malaki yung value nun. So, therefore, we're going to have over x sub 2 minus x sub 1 is equal to 1/2. So, from here, we now manipulate this equation and solve for the value of x, which is this. Itong x coordinate na to. Yan, magkatapat yan. So, from there, we can cross-multiply here. Therefore, we're going to have 2 times x minus x sub 1 is equal to 1. So, di ko na isusulat yung 1 na yun. Times x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Distribute 2, we're going to have 2x minus 2x sub 1 is equal to x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Kapag transpose mo to dito, we're going to have 2x is equals to x sub 2 minus x sub 1 plus 2x sub 1. 2x will then be equal to combine like terms, magka-like term, so that becomes x sub 2 plus x sub 1, because that's negative x sub 1 plus 2x sub 1. So, divide both sides by 2, at pwede mong isulat naman yan in any order. Therefore, the x coordinate is simply equal to x sub 1 plus x sub 2 over 2. Sulat natin yan dito. That the coordinate C is simply x sub 1 plus x sub 2 over 2. Which are the abscissas of the 2 points AB na hinahanap natin yung midpoint nun. Baka kasi nakalimutan natin sa kakaderive natin na ang hinahanap natin ay yung midpoint C na ito yung gitna o midpoint ng A tsaka B. Ayan. Now, we're going to do the same with Y. Lilinisin ko lang ito. Ayan. So now, let's now look for the Y coordinate. A while ago, we used AD over AE for the x-coordinate. So naturally, we're now going to use CD over BE for the y-coordinate. Ito naman. Ito yon. So, we know from this relationship from the HA similarity theorem that CD over BE is also equal to AC over AB, which is 1/2. So now, let's find the distance between C and D, the distance CD and the distance BE. Since C and D have the same x-coordinate, therefore, we just need to find the difference of the y-coordinates or the ordinates to find this length. So, difference, at dahil mas mataas yung C, assuming na mas malaki itong y. Therefore, the distance CD would be y minus y sub 1. Using the same concept, parehas ng abscissa, therefore, vertical. Pag vertical, ang distance nun, we subtract the ordinates. So, eto yun. Dahil mas mataas ang y sub 2, we assume y sub 2 is bigger, therefore, the difference will be y sub 2 minus y sub 1 is equal to 1/2. And kagaya ng ginawa ng procedure natin kanina, we cross-multiply to solve for y. So we're going to have 2. I-distribute ko na ng diretso. 2y minus 2y sub 1 is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1. Na parehas ng proseso kanina. We transpose, so therefore we'll have 2y is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 plus 2y sub 1. Combine like terms, we're going to have 2y is equal to y sub 2 plus y sub 1. Divide both sides by 2 at pwede mo itong isulat in any order because of commutative property of addition. Therefore, y is equal to y sub 1 plus y sub 2 over 2. Therefore, the formulas for the coordinates of the midpoint of a line segment or midpoint between 2 points for the abscissa, that's x sub 1 plus x sub 2 over 2. For the ordinate, that's y sub 1 plus y sub 2 over 2. And that would be the midpoint between 2 points or the midpoint of a line segment. Now, let's try to apply the concept of midpoint in solving some geometric problems. In part 1, we are asked to find the coordinates of the midpoint of a line segment whose endpoints are given. Pretty straightforward. So, isolve natin yan. For part 1, number 1, ano daw ang midpoint ng points ng line segment with endpoints A at negative 3, 4 and B, 5, 4. So we simply apply the midpoint formula. You can use any point for the midpoint, usually letter M. So the midpoint M would be apply our formula, x sub 1 plus x sub 2 over 2 and y sub 1 plus y sub 2 over 2. So therefore the midpoint M would be negative 3 plus 5 over 2, comma 4 plus 4 over 2. So we're going to have negative 3 plus 5, 2 over 2, and that would be equal to what? Well, for the ordinate, that's 4 plus 4, 8 divided by 2, 4. There you go. So therefore, the midpoint of this line segment is at M with coordinates 1, 4. So pause the video and try to solve for the midpoint for number 2. So, if you were able to see that, we have the same point B, assuming that you've already solved it. Ayan, then we just simply apply the formula, the same formula. So, therefore, this becomes 5 plus 5 over 2 and 4 plus 1 over 2, which gives us 5. Then 5 halves, kasi that's 4 plus 1. Ayan. Now, another application of the midpoint formula would be here. The midpoint of the line segment whose endpoints are the first two given points is the third given point. So, sabi daw, ito yung third point, yung midpoint. So, ito yung midpoint, ito yung midpoint. We're asked to find the values of the variables. Ito. So, dun sa number 1, we have the point at negative 5, 3, and the point at x, y has a midpoint of 3, 4. So, to solve for it, kailangan separate. Kasi separate yung formulas ng abscissa and coordinates, di ba? So, for x, that would be negative 5 plus x over 2, that would be equal to 3. Yan ang formula ng abscissa ng midpoint. Again, this is the midpoint. For the ordinate, that would be 3 plus y over 2 equals 4. Then solve for the values of x and y. So here we can cross multiply, so we're going to have negative 5 plus x, and that would be equal to 6. Transpose, x will be equal to 6 plus 5, which is equal to 11. Here, on the other hand, that would become 3 plus y is equal to 8. Pagka-transpose, y is equal to 8 minus 3, which is equal to 5. Therefore, that point xy is actually the point 11. Yeah. So try to pause the video and see what would be the values that you'll get in number 2. So in number 2, if you got the value of x and y as negative 4, negative 4 and 3, then that means you are correct. Ayan. Now, another application is here. Ito, medyo mas hindi ganun ka-straightforward na application ng midpoint formula. If A at the point 2, negative 4, B, the point 7, 1, and C, negative 1, 5 are 3 vertices of a parallelogram ABCD, you're asked to find the coordinates of vertex D. We are to note that diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. Ngayon, paano papasok ang midpoint formula dyan? Now, say for example, we have this parallelogram. Yan. Ayan. Assuming this is our parallelogram na hindi umabot. Ayan. Ito na yan. Then we have a I think it's better if we're going to draw. Wait lang. So let's erase this. Ayan. So let's now draw a Cartesian plane para mas maintindihan natin. There you go. Okay. So let's locate A. That's 2, negative 4. A. Then B, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. This is B. C is at negative 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ito ang C. So based on their locations, D can be somewhere here. Pwede rin dito. Pwede rin dito. It depends. Now, so, to find the coordinates of vertex D, we are to note that diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. And usually, more often than not, yung magkatapat, yan, yung n-person diagonal. Remember that when we say a diagonal, if we have a parallelogram, like this, A, B, C, D, usually ganyan magpangalan ng parallelogram, paikot, then this would be your diagonals. And if it's a parallelogram, it bisects each other, which means itong AC, hinati niya sa dalawa yung BD. And BD, hinati niya sa dalawa yung AC. So pag hinati sa dalawa, saan dumaan yung diagonal? Dito sa midpoint. Doon papasok yung midpoint. So, if we want to find a parallelogram, we need to find that point D such that yun, that coordinate will follow this property of parallelogram. So, based from this, and usually sa nomenclature ng parallelogram, AC, yung dalawang yan, will have the same midpoint as BD. AC yung magkatapat, yung inassume ko. So, therefore, we can use AC to find the midpoint, and it will have the same midpoint as BD. So we can then use that to find D. So linisin lang natin itong isa. So first, let's find the midpoint of AC. Let me write it this way here. The midpoint of AC, which would be, that's 2 plus negative 1 over 2, following our formula. And then, that's negative 4 plus 5 over 2. Therefore, we're going to have the midpoint at 1/2, 1/2. So, 1/2, 1/2, ipakita lang natin mukhang ito yon, 1/2, 1/2. Yeah, so that's the midpoint. So, most probably, nandito ata yun. Alangan na nandito yung isang endpoint. Ito yung B. So now, algebraically, without drawing, algebraically, we can now find the coordinates of point D. How is that? Yung kanina natin ginawa, ito sa part 1 natin ito ginawa. Ngayon, gagawin natin part 2. Since the midpoint is at 1/2, 1/2, and then we know that B is at 7/1, we can find D. So, babalik na rin natin ngayon that this plus this divided by 2 is 1/2. 7 plus x over 2 is equal to 1/2. And similarly, 1 plus y over 2 is also equal to 1/2. Since they have the same denominators, we can actually simply just assume that 7 plus x equals 1 and 1 plus y equals 1. And we know that when we transpose, we're going to have x is equal to 1 minus 7, which is equal to negative 6. And here, y is equal to 1 minus 1, which is equal to 0. Therefore, ang coordinates ng D ay negative 6, 0. D is at negative 6, 0. And just to plot that, 1, 2, 3, medyo lagpas na. Andito yung 6, 0. So, somewhere along here. Ayan yun. So, there. Those are some of the examples in which we can use midpoint, the midpoint formula, the midpoint between 2 points, to solve geometric problems.